Okay, I am Prabhavati. I will cover the entire course for data engineering. Here we will cover Python, SQL. Coming to the cloud, we'll cover AWS and Azure. AWS only very few components like S3 and Redshift. And in Azure, we can cover most of the things like ADF, Data Factory, Blob Storage, ADLS, and Databricks, Synapse, and then PySpark. So these are the major things which we will cover in our course. Other than this, we'll also cover uh, some basics of Airflow. This Airflow is the orchestration tool, or for scheduling, we will use Airflow. I'll cover some basics of this, but all these topics I will cover in detail. Okay. So if you have not already seen the demo video, please go through that. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Today, without wasting much of the time, we'll cover Python. We'll start with Python today. So I'll tell you some features of Python, why we need to learn Python, why is it required. So in data engineering, we will be building ETL pipelines. I'll tell you what is ETL. In data engineering, we'll be building ETL pipelines. ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. Extract, transform, and load. So what we are extracting, transforming, and loading, this is all about data. Data engineering is all about data. That data we have to extract it, transform it, and then load it. From where we have to extract it, the data might be coming from various sources. It might be a database or it might be some email files. For you to understand, just assume that in the email we are getting some file. We have to download that. So that we call it as extraction. And transformation. From the data, we want to do some transformations like converting it to proper data types, or renaming the columns, or in place of null values we have to keep some values. Those are all comes under transformations. We will do some transformations on the data because the raw data may not be very clean. It might not be used as it is. We need to do some transformations on top of that. That we call it as transformation, and then load it. So in order to do analysis, the purpose of data engineering is we have to make the data ready for analytics. Analytics means whoever creates reports using the analytics tools like Power BI or Tableau or anything. So we have to make the data ready for the analytics to use and generate reports. So for that, we have to load this data into one of the database or the data warehouse. Sorry, I forgot to mention here. I'll also cover Snowflake, which is a cloud-based data warehouse. So Snowflake is very, very, very important because only with the Snowflake also you will be able to get jobs with the Snowflake developer roles. Okay, so most of the days in nowadays, most of the organizations are using Snowflake as a target data warehouse. So we have to load it into one of the data warehouse, either Redshift or a Snowflake. Redshift is specific to AWS, but Snowflake it can be hosted on any cloud platform. I'll tell you if you don't worry if you don't understand some terminology. I will cover everything in detail. So this extraction and transformation, this is done using Python. So this is where we have to use our Python skills. Extract and transform. So for this, we need to write Python. This loading part that is completely taken care by the data warehouse or the database that comes under SQL. But this extraction and transformation is done using Python. In most of the cases, not every organization uses the same pattern, but in most of the cases, this is the use case where we use Python. To extract the data or transform the data, we use Python. So we'll cover Python as much as required for data engineering. Okay. So coming to Python, Python is an open source language. High level. When I say high level, it is user friendly, which means it is like plain English language, not system heavy. It is a user friendly language, high level programming language, high level programming language. We will be able to understand it just by reading it because it is a plain English, nothing complicated. The syntax is also very simple. It has very rich library. I'll tell you all of those features. It is a high level programming language, easily understood, and it is a open source language. Open source means we don't need any license. We can use it by downloading it from the web, from the browser. So I'll show you how you can download that. Or you can write, you can use it in the online also. You no need to download also. You can write it in the online as well. First, I'll tell you how to download. So there is a website called python.org. Go to this website. Python.org is the website. We have to go to this website and click on the downloads. So it will show you the latest version compatible with your operating system. So my system is Windows. So it is showing the latest compatible version. Download for Windows 3.13 is the latest one. You can download this. For me, the Python is already installed. So I'm not going to download it once again, but I'll show you. Let me download it and show you for you. Download it. Based on your operating system, you can get the version here. So it is getting downloaded. It is very simple. The installation is very simple. So it gets downloaded into your downloads folder. So here it is. There. We have to just double click on that. So here, click on install now. Before that, you have to check this option, add python.exe to path. So you have to check this option and then click on install now. So it will ask you for your permissions, just grant it, and then it will get downloaded. It will just take some few seconds. In few seconds, it will get installed. Just wait. Okay, it is completed. Setup was successful. So you can close this window. And if you want to see what is the version installed in your system, open command prompt, open a command prompt and type Python here. So it will show you 3.13.2. Whatever version you have downloaded, that will be shown here. So if you check, like nowadays, Python is coming by default with the systems. You can, before downloading or installing, you can check if it is already available or not. If not, you can download it. After downloading, if you want to check, just type Python in the command prompt. You will get the version number here. So Python has different versions, but nowadays most of them are already migrated to Python 3. Python 3 and above, all the versions are more or less the same. Just some additional features are added into the versions above 3. So the major difference lies in Python 2 and Python 3. I will show you. Syntactically also we can see some differences between Python 2 and Python 3. So various versions are Python 2 and Python 3. These are the major versions where we can see a huge difference in the programming. So this syntactically, the Python 2 is different from Python 3. While coding, I will show you the difference. Python 2 will not be executed in Python 3. So once you install Python, now you are able to see it in the command prompt. The version is this, but how you can use it, how I can write the programs and execute it. So for that, by default, it comes with a IDLE environment. In the search box, just write IDLE. This IDLE stands for Integrated Development Environment. So this will open up like this. This is the IDLE environment which comes by default. So this is the interactive environment. We can say interactive environment because whatever we write here, it will execute immediately. So now let us say I just want to print hello world. In other languages, we have to write maybe in Java or C language, we have to initialize with stdio.h something. All those things we have to initialize before writing any program. May it be very simple or complicated, it doesn't matter. But we have to initiate something in the other languages. So, but in Python, we don't need anything. We just have to write it like a plain English. So, if you want to print hello world, just write print of in the double quotes. You have to write hello world. Just close the brackets. Here it is showing the syntax also, the suggestions. These are value. What value I want to print? Hello world, I want to print it. This separator and this all I will tell you later. First, we'll execute. See, whatever I have written here, this is printed. Hello world is executed. So I don't want to execute one line at a time. I want to execute my complete program at a time. For that, you have to open a new file here. Here you can see the file option. Click on that new file. Here you can write the same program. Print hello world. This one you have to save it in your system with some file name. Sorry. Okay, I'll save it as P1. So by default, if you write in IDLE environment, the extension will be Python files. By default, it will be saved as file name .py files. .py is the extension for all the py files. So if there is any .py, it will consider it as a Python program and execute it. Okay, I'm saving it. Okay, just run it now. Run module. There is an option here, run module. Just click on that. See here, the program is executed. So there is only one line now. Only one line got executed. If there are multiple lines, or this multiple lines gets executed. So this is one way of writing your Python code. There are various ways in which Python is written and executed. So by default, it comes with IDLE, and this is what IDLE looks like. So other ways, you can just write it in simple notepad or wordpad also. So let me open a notepad. Before opening a notepad or something, let me tell you one thing here. If you don't want to run it from here, if you want to run it from a command prompt, we can do that as well. See here the path where the file is stored. Where our Python file is stored, it is stored in C drive, users, some number, and under downloads, this Python file is existing. So go to the command prompt, nothing but CMD. You can type CMD and it will pop up. So here you have to go to this path. So we are already in 91970. This path already existing. Just go to the other path, C. In order to change the path in command prompt, we need to do CD. CD stands for change directory. CD downloads. So in this downloads, we have p1.py file. So I want to execute that. In order to execute any Python file, you just have to type Python space that file name. Python space file name that will execute your code. Now let us run it. See here, it is executed and the same output, hello world is printed. I'll repeat one more time. You have to check the path where our Python file is stored. and then open a command prompt. Open a command prompt, navigate to that path. So in order to change the directories, we have to do cd, whatever folder you want. Okay, cd downloads, and then inside that, wherever our Python file is existing, just type Python space that file name. That will execute the whole file and generate the output. Okay. Now again, I will write it. This is through ideally we have written. So now I want to write it in a notepad. Let me open a notepad. I'm showing you the different ways to execute a Python file. Here I'm writing the same program, and if you are not able to follow, let me know. So print hello world, the same program I have written. I want to save it. Now I'll save it on desktop with P2. My file name will be P2. See the difference. When you are writing in the IDLE environment, by default, the file type is saved as Python file. But when you are writing in a notepad, it is showing default as the text document. If you save it as a text document, it will not understand it as a Python program to execute. So we have to select from the drop down. So select all files, and in the file name itself, write p2.py. Extension also you have to provide. Then it will be able to understand it as a Python file. So I'm storing it in desktop. Let me copy this path. Desktop, and saving it as a P2 file. Save it. So now it is saved. Now I want to run it. So this is a notepad. I don't have any options like run button or something like that. So what we have to do is go to command prompt. Where is my command? Yeah, this is my command prompt. Now my Python file is existing on the desktop. Now I will change that to desktop cd. I have copied the desktop path cd, paste it. This is my desktop path. Now we are in desktop. Now I want to execute that Python file. Our file name is p2, p2.py. See, it is executed. So like this, you can write it in Notepad, WordPad, anywhere. You can save it as a .py file and execute it through the command prompt. So for our course, we will use ideally environment because it will be interactive. It will be easy to run instead of navigating to command prompt every time. We'll use this ideally environment. Or you can install PyCharm or any other editors. Okay. If you don't want to install anything on your system, or if you don't have a system also, just go to Python online compiler. You can do it from your phone as well. Python online compiler. Open this first one. So remove whatever is available here. Just write your programs. Okay. Now I'm executing this. See here, the same output is printed. You can try this in your mobile itself if you don't want to install. So whatever way is convenient to you, you can use it. But there were some limitations to this online compiler. When we're working with some advanced concepts, that time I will tell you which features are not supported in the online compiler. Okay. So the basic fundamentals, you can practice it from here. So these are the different ways in which Python is executed and installed. You can install it or use online editors or write it in a notepad, wordpad and save it as .py file and execute it. Okay. That is about the installation and the usage. Python 2 and Python 3, there are differences. Python 3, if you have just seen right now, this print statement we are writing as print hello world. But in Python 2, the same thing can be written as print space hello world. This is a Python 2 version. So this is a Python 3. The first line is Python 3 and the second is Python 2. You don't worry about Python 2. It is nowhere used other than some legacy systems. Most of the 90% of the times, every organization is using Python 3 and above. Okay. Now coming back to the features, now we'll discuss some features. So Python was first invented or developed in 1991 by some person called Guido van Rossum. So it was developed in 1991 and released to public for usage in 1991 by this person Guido van Rossum. Okay. So it takes into consideration, it has all the features of all the languages. It has taken into consideration all the programming languages, and uh, it has given all the features of that all the languages like C, Java. Like C programming, it is procedure oriented programming. Like Java, it is object oriented programming. It is a combination of both, combination of all languages, all language fundamentals. So it is a combination of all language fundamentals. This is all the theoretical concept. You don't need to worry about all of this. Just for the introduction or sake, for the sake of understanding, I'm telling you. Okay. So where all Python can be used? One is our data engineering applications. Now whatever we are going to discuss in data engineering. So other areas where Python is used is for developing web applications or desktop applications. We can use Python, or data science also. Python is very extensively used, or gaming apps, AI, artificial intelligence. Nowadays, artificial intelligence, everything is built on Python, but some advanced libraries are required for that. And IoT, Internet of Things. So in all these areas, Python is heavily used. So we can do all these things using Python. But in our case, we'll be covering the concepts which are required for our data engineering. For any course, even for the other things also, the basic fundamentals are required. Along with that, some advanced concepts are required for each of these applications. Now we'll discuss the features. So features, one we have already discussed. It is a high level programming language and user friendly. It is user friendly because the syntax is very simple. Just now we have seen the print statement that is very simple. Anybody can understand it by looking at it, what it is doing. If anybody looks at this print of hello world, they'll be able to understand what it is doing. But in other languages, there were some initializations, some declarations will be there. After all of that, we have to write our main program. But in Python, it is not required. We just have to write whatever is required. Okay. It is a user friendly, easy to understand. The syntax is also very simple when compared to other languages. The syntax is very simple and it is a open source. We don't need to pay anything for that. You can just download from the online resources and use it. And it is a platform independent. Platform independent. So when I say platform independent, it can be run either on Windows or Linux or Mac or anywhere. The same without making any changes to the program. We can run it on any OS. Same program can be executed in any OS, Windows, Linux, anything. The same program can be executed on any platform without any changes to the code. And portability. Portability is also same. We can migrate from one platform to another platform easily. If we have written some programming in the Windows, and if you want to migrate it to Linux, we can do that easily. Migration to other OS can be done very easily. You just have to place the files. That's it. You no need to modify anything. You just have to place the files or migrate the files. And other feature is dynamically typed language. This is very, very important. Dynamically typed language. What it means? So if you want to declare some variables, if you want to assign values to the variables like a equal to 10 or some your name equal to your name. So name equal to Python or language equal to Python. We have to specify in other languages, we have to specify the variables before initializing. We have to specify the type of that variable as integer or float or string or whatever it is. You have to specify the type of the data. But in program, it is not required. Based on the values we assign to the variable, the data type will be automatically detected. I will show you dynamically typed language. No need to declare variable types. Auto detected based on values assigned to it. Okay, now let us see what it means. Dynamically typed language. Go to our IDLE environment. This is, wait, sorry, let me open the interactive one. Okay, here I want to declare my name. Name equal to, my name is Prabhavati. I'm just providing the value here. So in Python, single quotes and double quotes have the same meaning. You can use any of them, not a problem. But there are some special cases where it has a different meaning. I'll tell you later. So for time being, you can use either single quotes or double quotes, not a problem. So I have defined the name. So I did not tell what the type of it is. So I'll just want to get the output of the name. So it is giving the output as Prabhavati. So if I want to know the data type of this. So I have just given some letters, some characters inside a single quotes, and it has stored in the Python. So now I want to know the data type of this. In order to know the data type, we have to use the keyword type of name. See, it is a class string. Name is string. This is probably a group of characters. This is a string. Again, I will initiate another variable a equal to some number. A equal to 100. So now I will check the data type of this. I want to print the value of a. If you just type a in the interactive environment, you can just type a and you will get the value of it. It is a. Now type of a. So it is an integer. The type of a is integer. Now I will take the b and I'll write some decimal number here. So the value of b is 10.89. I want to check the type of b. So this is float. So without we telling initially what the data type it is, by default it is able to understand based on the given values as string, integer or float or any other data types. It is able to detect automatically. So this is called as dynamically typed language. Okay, now coming back, dynamically typed language, and also Python is an interpreter language. Interpreter language. So interpreter language is nothing but it executes line by line. Executes line by line. I'll show you this also. Interpreter. There are two types of languages basically, compiler and interpreter. Compiler means it will execute all the code at once. And interpreter is it will execute line by line. So I'll tell you with the example here. Now coming back to this Python code. So here we have written print hello world. Again, I will write print hello world with some syntax error. Print hello world. This is Python 2 version. This syntax is for Python 2, but whatever we are using, this is Python 3. Okay. So now I'll try to execute this. Save this file and try to execute it. See here, missing parenthesis in call to print. Did you mean print off? It is suggesting. Did you want to do something like this? Print with brackets and inside that with some text statement. So it is suggesting. So after this, I will write some lines of code again. Print. I'll write correct syntax then. Here, print hello, my name. There is no error here. In the print hello Prabha, there is no error. And I'll write few more statements. We are learning Python. So there is no issue with the last two lines and also the first line. There is error in the second line. Now I'll run it. First of all, we have to save it and run it. Again, it is showing the second line. It has error. It is pointing out here. It has some error. Okay. Though there are any number of lines, whether it is a correct code or wrong code, if there is any error detected at any line, it will stop execution there itself. So it will stop execution there itself. If it is a syntax error, it won't even execute the previous lines. First line it is able to understand, but we are not able to see any output here. Okay. We are not able to see any output because it is just internally it is compiling. Compiling means reading all the file at once. So if it is trying to understand whether the syntax is correct or not. It has found syntax error over here, so it will not go and look into the other lines. Again, I will write some syntax error in the last line. Okay. So the second line is a error one. The last line is also error one. Now we'll save it and try to execute it. See, it is showing error at only line number 2, not in line number 5. Because it is an interpreter language, it is reading line by line. Whenever it is found issue with the second line, it stopped execution there itself. Okay, now I will correct this syntax. Second line, I will correct it. So now it is showing fifth line. Okay, so wherever it detects error at the first time, the execution stops there itself. Not only syntax errors, any logical errors also, it will stop execution there itself. Okay, now I'll correct this as well. Okay, now let us try to run it. There are no syntax errors now. So it has printed everything hello world. First two times is hello world, next is hello Prabha, next is we are learning Python, and then syntax error. So it has printed everything in the order whatever we have given. Now I'll write some logical errors. A value is 10 and B value is my name or Python I will provide. B is Python. One is a number, A is a number and B is a string. So we can add two numbers. See here it is very simple. If you want to add 10 and 20, it's just we have to write 10 plus 20. It is giving 30. Or if you want to assign to some variables A equal to 10, B equal to 20, A plus B, it is giving 30. It is up to you. Either you can add it directly or you can assign it to variables and then add it. It is up to us. You can do anything. Now I want to add. These are two numbers. It is able to add properly without any issues. But here one is number, another is string. Let us try to add these two and see what happens. So there is no syntax error anywhere in our program. Now run this. So in the first 5 lines, there is no syntax error, no logical error also. So the first 5 lines are printed because it is a line by line execution. There are no errors detected in all of these lines, at least syntax errors. If there is a syntax error, the execution will not happen at all. Even though if there are 100 lines of code, which is correct, there is error in 101, that will not execute if it is a syntax error. That we have seen previously. But now there is no syntax error, there is some logical error here. So the first 5 lines are executed successfully, and then here see, it is showing error at this line. Print of a plus b. What is the error? It is a type error. Unsupported operand for type, integer and string. It is saying I am not able to add integer and a string value. Even for humans also it is not possible. 10 plus Python, how mathematical operations will happen on this? So it won't happen. So there is error here. After that, I'm writing some more print statements. Print. I will write the error message here. Not able to add integer to string. We are not able to add integer to string. There is no syntax error or no logical error in this line, but there is error here. So now let us see what happens. See, even though there is no error in the last line, it has found error here. The execution stopped here itself. Whether it is a logical error or syntax error, the execution stops wherever it finds the first error. This we call it as an interpreter language. Okay. So if it is a compiler language, it will say there is an error here. After that, let us also try here. I will try to add 100 plus string A. Here also this is an error, right? 100 is not able to add with string A. And 100 we are not able to add it. This is also a logical error and this is also a logical error. So when we try to execute it, it will show error at only one line. Now let us run this. See, first 5 lines, no issue. Next, A plus B, here it has found some error. It has stopped the execution there itself. Now, this is correct. There is no syntax or logical errors here. It is correct. But still, it did not execute. And in the next line, there is a logical error again. Still, it did not execute because wherever it finds the first error, the execution will stop then and there itself. That is called the interpreter language. But when it comes to compiler language, it compiles all the code at once. So it will give error at this line number, execute this as well, and it will give error at this line as well. It will show error in 2 lines and executes the remaining code in the compiler language. But in interpreter, wherever first error is found, it will stop execution. Okay, so are you clear with the compiler and interpreter languages? Okay, hope you understood. And these are the features, uh, main features of Python. So another important feature is it has very rich libraries. Very rich libraries. So very rich libraries is if you want to use it in the machine learning or artificial intelligence or the data science or anything, even in data engineering also, it provides some libraries. Just by importing that library, you can use it. I will tell you later what libraries are. If you want to do some calendar related functions, if you want to do some calendar, if you want to prepare a calendar, Python has already that library. You just have to import it and create a calendar. That is very simple. So it has very rich libraries, not only for calendar. There are so many like that. It has very rich libraries. Whatever functionality you define, it has a library in Python. You no need to write customized code in order to achieve some functionality. That we can do it, but still for the majority of the cases, we have libraries. So because of this very rich libraries, Python has become powerful and easy to use. So these are the main features of the Python, and it won't provide backward compatibility. Python won't provide backward compatibility. So back it means backward compatibility means in the sense of versions. So Python 3 won't be able to support Python 2. In other languages or in some other technologies, how the new versions will develop along with the features of the old versions, there will be some additional features of the new versions. That is how in general the updates happen or the upgrades happen. So along with the old features, new features will be supported. But in case of Python, old features will not be supported in the new versions. Python 2 is not supported in Python 3. Python 2 is not supported in Python 3. If you write Python 2 syntax in Python 3, that won't work. We have seen just now. Okay, that is called backward compatibility. That is not possible in Python. Okay, these are the features of Python. Now we'll start real coding now. So any doubts still here?
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Now we'll start the real coding. I'll come here. I'll tell you some simple things now. Uh, Now there is a syntax error here. Not syntax error, some logical error here. Now I don't want to execute this line. There are other lines of code. After this, let us assume there were some 10 lines of code. Because of this error, I don't want to block the other lines. So I don't want this line to be executed. So for that, we have to comment it. So this hash is used for commenting in Python. One line comment. If you want to comment one line, then you have to use hash at the start of the line. So now let us execute it again. See here, now it has printed till syntax error till here. And after that, this is commented it. So there is no error here. It is commented it. It is not part of the execution. Whenever we have commented it out, it is eliminated from the execution. It doesn't execute. Okay. That's why it has printed the next line. Not able to add, I forgot to write, not able to add integer to string. It has printed that line and next line it is giving error. Print 100 plus a. This is the error line it has printed. Okay. So for single line comment, we can use hash. Okay. Not able to add integer to string. And then 100 plus a is the error because it is not able to add integer to the string. It is good. Now we have added only comments to one line. What if I don't want to execute these first 5 lines? So we can comment it either using hash for each line, or if you want to comment multiple lines at a time, we have to use triple quotes, triple double quotes, or triple single quotes. So this triple quotes means comments, multi-line comments. So these set of lines will not execute now. All these lines will not execute. Along with that, this line will also not get executed. Now let us save it and run it. See here. Now this part of the code is not printed here. In the next iteration or the next run, these 5 lines, whichever we have commented, that is not seen in output because they are eliminated from the execution. So next A is 10, B is Python. These values just we have assigned some values to the variables and we do not do anything because this print is again commented. Okay, next line is not able to add integer to string. So this line is printed and there is an error in the next line. It has given that error. This is the multi-line comments. You can do it in triple quotes or triple double quotes or triple single quotes. Now I have done in double quotes. If you want to do it in single quotes also, that's fine. It works absolutely fine without any issues. See here the same output. There is no difference at all. Okay. So this is about a single line comment. For single line comment, you have to use hash, or for multi lines comments, you have to use this triple quotes, either single triple quotes or double quotes three times. So whatever you have started, you have to end with the same thing. I will tell you one thing. Even while declaring the variables also, I will comment out this because it has some error. While defining the variables also, I will define my name. So name equal to Prabha. Print name. Okay, I'm just printing my name. Okay, now see here, I have started with double quotes. The string I have started with double quotes and ended with double quotes. So whatever you start with, it has to be ended with the same thing. Now again, I will write one more name. So name equal to, I will write language here. Language is Python. Okay, so here I will write it in single quotes. Language Python, I will write it in single quotes. I will print that name here. Here in the print statement, you can write any number of variables. You can print any number of variables. So I am trying to print name and language. So I don't know if you are aware of other languages, at least C, which is part of your maybe some BTech course. In that language, if you want to print something, you have to provide some symbols before this: percentile D for decimals, percentile S for string, percentile F for float. Those are all things we have to define while if you want to print the variables. But in case of Python, that we don't need anything. Whatever the variable name, just print as it is. That will get printed. You no need to pass percentile D, percentile F, nothing. See here, name and language. It is both printed. So whatever you want to print in the print statement, just provide a comma and write all the variables whichever you want to print it. Okay, now if I have started with, here I have started with single quote, ended with single quote, started with double quote, ended with double quote. So if I provide single quote at the starting and double quote at the beginning, it will throw syntax error. See, unterminated string literal detected at line 18. So whatever you start with, you end with the same thing. Okay. So that is an important rule. You can use any of these single or double quotes, not a problem, but you have to be consistent. Whatever you start with, it has to be ended with the same. Okay. So now name and language is printed side by side with the space in between. Okay. So here, instead of space, I want to provide some symbols in between. So for that, there is an option called separator. Separator equal to, with what you want to separate. Again, here you can provide the separator either in double quotes or single quotes. That is up to you. I want to provide stars in between. Okay. See now, in between these two variables, we have star. So that option you can specify in the separate option. This is the option name. And here, whatever you want to print, you can write it inside this. Along with this, there is one more option called end. How do you want how do you want to end each line? So I want to end it with some percentage symbols. Let us see what happens. See, now Python is printed. Sorry, name Prabha is printed. Separator is this star, and next is language. After that, end. So after printing everything, what do you want at the end? If you don't provide anything, it won't do anything. If you provide something, it will do whatever you define. So after completing this part of the code, what do you want to do? So at the end, I want to print this symbol. So it has printed that. Okay. Or else I will take the same. So name language, I want to print it, but I want to print it in two different lines. Now, if you see here, name and language are getting printed in the same line, but I want to print them in separate lines. So here in place of separator, I will provide backslash n. This backslash n stands for new line. So ending is this one. After printing, after completing this operation, what you want to do? So I want to print this. Okay, now I will execute it. Okay, see here. Let me comment this so that you'll be able to easily understand. See here, now Prabha is printed in one line and the next value is language. Between name and language, I want separator as a new line. So this language has come in a new line. So after completing this operation, I want to just uh, print these characters at the end. So it has printed those characters at the end. Okay. So this is about the print statement. Any doubts still here? Okay. I'm taking it as no. Now I will define some rules for variables. Rules to declare variables. Declare or define variables. So variables are nothing but this A. A has the value 10, B has value Python, name is Prabha, language is Python. These are all the variables. So what are the rules for defining them? There are some set of rules which we should not do or which we should do. What to do or what not to do. There are some rules. So the variable name should always start with alphabets. Should always start with alphabets, either uppercase or lowercase. Anything is fine, either upper or lowercase. Capital letters or small letters, anything is fine. Okay, variable name should always start with alphabets. And next rule is it should not start with numbers. When I say it should always start with alphabets, it should not start with any numbers or symbols or any other characters. It should always start with the alphabets. So start with alphabets, but it might contain numbers. It allows numbers also. It allows numbers in between or at end, but not at beginning. We'll see with examples also. First, let us know these things and then see the example. Underscore is also allowed. Underscore is allowed. Okay. There should not be any special characters. Special characters not allowed in any part of variable. So our variable name should not contain any special characters. Okay. And also variables are case sensitive. Python itself is case sensitive. Python itself is case sensitive. So and so the variables. So variables are also case sensitive. So it means capital letters and small letters are different in Python. And some keywords cannot be used as variable names. Okay. It should not start with Numbers. We have already discussed it should not start with numbers. There is no length limit. Our variable name can be of any length. There is no limit on that. No limit on length of variable. It can be of any size. But generally we'll use small length as the variable names. Okay, these are the different rules to follow while defining or declaring the variables. Okay, now I will comment on this because this is not programming. These are some notes we have written. So when we execute in Python, it will give error. So I don't want to execute it. I will comment it out. Okay, these are the different rules to define a variable. We'll see all of this with examples. So our variables, first criteria is it should always start with alphabets. So name, name, it is correct. Now I will implement all those rules and try to print one after the other. So name, it is starting with alphabets. There is no special character here. Uh, and any other restrictions here? Okay, first we'll try to execute this. Okay, name, it is good, no issues with this. Now, numbers are not allowed at the beginning. So first I'll write one name equal to the same value I will provide and I will try to print it. Print one name. So as per our criteria, numbers are not allowed at the beginning. Let us see that. See, invalid decimal literal. So it is taking it as a syntax error. So the variables should not start with numbers. So, but numbers are allowed, but not at the beginning. You can use anywhere in between or at the end. So instead of one name, I'll write it as name one. Sorry, here instead of print, okay, see here, instead of one name, I have used name one. Name one, it worked successfully. Now I will take language. So in language, in between also the numbers are allowed. Language, I'll name it as SQL. Print language. You can use numbers at any part of the variable. See, this language is also printed. LA2NG. This is also fine. Now underscore is also allowed. So I'll write language name. Java. Print language name. Okay. Language name is also printed as Java. No issues. We have used underscore here. So let us try using underscore at the beginning. Language name equal to C++ and print underscore language name. See, C++ it is printed. Uh, this underscore, we can use it, but there is a special meaning to this underscore. It means it is a protected variable. Without any symbols, I mean, this name one, lang, LA2NG, lang underscore name. These are all public variables. You can access it anywhere, anytime. But this is a protected variable. This also we can access it, but we call it as a protected variable if it is starting with underscore at the beginning. This we call it as protected variable. That is a protected variable. And now we'll see special characters. Special characters not allowed in any part of variable. Let us try that. Character at the rate. Mm, we'll name it as special characters. Now I want to print it. Char at the rate. Now let us see. See here it is giving invalid syntax because there is a special character here. So instead of here, I will write it in between. See here, cannot assign to expression here. Maybe you meant instead of equal to. So it is trying to understand at the rate as a special meaning. So this at the rate has a special meaning. I will tell you when working with the regular expressions. That's why we should not use special characters as a part of our variables. Okay. So this is not allowed. I will comment it out. Now use another symbol, dollar, print char dollar. See here again it is giving invalid syntax. Let us try to use it at the beginning. Anywhere, any part of the variable, it is not allowed. Okay. Special characters are not allowed in any part of the variables. Okay. Now, I said it is case sensitive. Case sensitive means if you are writing small letters, everything is small case here, name or anywhere. It is a small letter. But if you want to try to print it in uppercase, it won't understand. Now let us try to print. We already have a name here in the smaller case. I want to print it in the uppercase. I'm trying to access this name. Accidentally, I don't know or I don't remember. I did not remember how the name was given. So I'm trying to accidentally print it with this uppercase name. Now run it. I will comment this because it will give errors. Okay. Name is already existing, but it is a smaller case. See here, name error. Name is not defined. It doesn't know what it is. So, but if you write small name, it knows what it is. See here, now if you print name here, it is it will look in every part of the code and give the value to you. Okay, so it has given it. So it is case sensitive. Or in whatever case you have defined your variables, it should be accessed with the same name. Now with the capital letters, I will provide one more name. Here I will provide some John and print name. It will give the corresponding values. See, print I have given in the uppercase. It is not able to understand. Name print is not defined because Python itself is case sensitive. That's what I told. Okay. So it is giving the corresponding values. It is case sensitive. Now I will cover one more small topic and I will close for today. Till now, so with each name we have variable only one time. Each variable has values only one time. What if I provide different values to the same variable again and again? Just a minute, let me connect something. Okay, so for the same variable, I will provide different values. So first A, the variable name is A. Here I am providing value 10. Now I will print the value of A and its data type. A, how to check the data type? We have to use the type keyword type. So I told no, we should not use keywords as the variable names. I'll show you that also. Type is one of the keyword, print is one of the keyword. These are all the keywords. We should not use it as variable names. Now type of A. Now run it. So the value of A is 10 and its data type is integer. Now I will provide one more value to A as Python. Now see what value will be printed in place of A. See, the value of A is updated to Python and the type is string. Initially it is integer. Later, based on the value we updated, it is changed to string. Okay. Now I will assign one more variable A equal to some float number. I will assign. Now it is 56.78. So now A has value 10 in Python and 56.78. It has all the three variables, but why it is giving only the last one? So in every case, if you see, initially we have only one line or value of that is given. When we have two lines, whatever is latest, Python is latest, that is given. When we have three lines, this 56.78 is the latest that is given. Why it is happening like that? Because whenever we are defining variables with the same name but with the different values, it gets overridden. The values get overridden. So if for the for the same variable, if you are giving a new value, the old value will be overwritten. Okay. So if you provide hundreds of such values, whatever is the latest, that will be taken into consideration from over there. But you have to keep in mind some few things here. So here you are printing at the end. But here after A is 10, here you want to do some operations. Print A and A is multiplied with the 10. A is added with 5 and I want to also subtract 5. I have done some operations. Here I will provide separator as a new line so that it will be easy to understand. Okay. So with the value of A as 10, I want to do some operations because till here the value of A is only 10. A is Python after this statement. Okay. Now here I will write print A is updated to whatever value it is updated, it should print here. A is updated to this value A. Okay. Next here also I will print again A is updated to A. I don't want to hard code this. A is updated to 56.78. Who knows, it will be 56.78. Later I will give some other number. So that has to be dynamically detected. That's why I'm providing the value A here. Whatever is the value of this here, the same value will be returned here. Okay. So initially the value of A is 10. So I am doing some operations with that value. After performing those operations, I want to update that. So now my requirement is changed to Python. With that Python, I am doing some operations here. After that, again, I want to change this. I have changed it and I am doing some operations again. So after this, after all these statements, if you do some operations, print A into 5 and A divided by 5. I'm just doing. After all these operations, at the end, I'm trying to access this A. So whatever you are trying to access at the end, the latest value will be taken into consideration. Okay, let us run it now. It is getting executed. See here, first initially the value of A is 10. A is 10 here, and it is multiplied with 10. 10 is multiplied with 10, the result is 100. 10 is added with 5. A is added with 5. 10 plus 5 is 15. And next 10 minus 5. A minus 5. 10 minus 5 is 5. So this is done. This operation is completed. Next coming here, A is updated to Python. So that print statement is printed here. A is updated to Python. So here I just written A is updated to A here. I did not mention whether it is a Python or SQL or something. So whatever is there here, that gets captured here. Okay. So because of that, A is updated to Python. It is completed. Again, A value is 56.78. After that, I have printed A. Now the value is 56.78 and the type is float. After that, I have printed a print statement. Again, A is updated to 56.78. After that, I have multiplied that with 5. The multiplication result is this one. And I have divided that with 5. And the division result is this one. So you have to be careful of at what level you are trying to access that object. So if you're not doing any operations here and if you are directly doing operations at the end, so keep in mind that only the latest value will be considered. The previous values will get overridden. Okay. Let us stop it for today. Let me know if you have any doubts.